I have great news. Every moment I have great news. And the great news is that if you're seeking enlightenment or awakening, you're already enlightened, so that's the great news. There's no one striving to get something called enlightenment or awakening. That has to be the starting point. That has to be the starting point. The entire purpose of the Great Freedom Teaching is to demystify and normalize the timeless freedom that is already the case for every human being. So there's no need to put this matter of awakening or enlightenment or timeless freedom or whatever you want to call it into any category. The moment we put it into a category, for example, saying it's a religious matter, a spiritual matter, a philosophical matter, a psychological matter, a political matter, the moment we put it into any category, we take up a frame of reference for what it is. And then we have all these markers of description within that category that limit timeless freedom. So, if we wanted to come up with a category for timeless freedom, the most all-encompassing category would be being human, and knowing that this is our essence, that for every human being, no matter what we've learned about ourselves, no matter what we've taken ourselves to be, that our reality is aware basic space, and that this aware basic space is an infinite vast expanse, not confined in any way, not confined in any way by any points of view we have about being somebody, or any points of view we have about the world or anything else. So, a way to talk about that that's very simple is that we learn many things about ourselves once we are born as a human being. We learn so many things about ourselves. Most of us learn that we are somebody, that we're an individual I, that we have a personal identity, that this personal identity has all kinds of characteristics that are accumulated over a lifespan, and that accumulation of characteristics, in other words, thoughts, feelings, sensations, and actions, that those form our identity. That's who we are. What we've thought, felt, said, and done, that is our identity. And of course, that is one way of looking at it, and it is the conventional way of looking at what being human means. However, even though there may be endless conventional designations for who we are, it can never take away from the reality of what we truly are. Do you understand what I'm saying? That we already are timelessly free. We've never been affected by any of these words or labels that are included and contained within aware basic space. We've never been affected by any of those. And so as long as we take ourselves to be affected by them, we will be. It's that simple. Once we just rest naturally as the essence of awareness, more and more we familiarize ourselves with our identity as that rather than as all these labels. Because you see, we can't do anything about these labels, even if we try. We all know this already, everyone in this room. No matter what we've tried to do about our emotional states, our thoughts, our sensations, our actions, they just keep coming. They just keep coming. Even if we can muster together some kind of non-conceptual state for a little while, we can never keep it in place. We might, big non-conceptual state, an experience of something amazing, but this too is a point of view. You see, timeless freedom doesn't need to call itself anything. That's why it's called great freedom or timeless freedom. It doesn't need to call itself anything. It's not limited in any way at all. So, all these points of view are included and contained within the basic space of our awareness. And that awareness is a vast, single expanse of equalness and evenness, in which all points of view, no matter what they are equal and even. You see, everything, no matter what it is either timelessly free and equal, or it isn't. It's that simple. So when it comes to this matter of waking up, we don't have anything special to do. Once we think we have something special to do that's going to make us more likely to be awake, the less likely it is we will be awake. So if we think we have to have special thoughts or special emotional states or special actions that comprise our life, then we'll be moving further and further away from the great reality of what we are. Because what we are is already timelessly free. And it's timelessly free as every thought, word, and action. So, very often when we hear this, it turns everything we've thought to be true upside down. When we've spent a life, maybe including a life of spiritual seeking, that includes a world of opposites. In other words, some thoughts are good, some thoughts are bad, some thoughts are neutral. Some emotional states are bad, some emotional states are good, some emotional states are neutral. Some of our conduct is good, some of it's bad, and a lot of it's neutral. So the same with sensations of our body, some good, some bad, some neutral, depending on how we perceive all that. So when we hear that everything is an expanse of basic space that is entirely equal and even, sometimes that may be scary, like how could that possibly be when I've taken myself to be this conundrum of being a mixed bag of some good, some bad, and a lot neutral. So you see, we can't really figure out the reality of what we are. We can't figure it out in any way. We can't figure it out intellectually. We can't figure it out emotionally. We can't figure it out from the angle of vision or point of view of any label. We can't figure it out by anything we do. So no matter what our conduct is, it's not, if we try to shape our conduct to get awake, to get timelessly free, we're not going to be able to do it. If we're doing 3 or 4 hours of meditation a day and pujas and all of that, we're as likely to find timeless freedom there as we are making love and eating chocolate cakes. This is really true. There is nothing excluded. This is why we label it great freedom or timeless freedom. There's nothing excluded. Nothing about our ordinary human life that is excluded. If we think we have to put ourselves into a bodily state of total pure peace in order to realize who we are, that's just another point of view, you see. That's just another addition to the points of view of who we might take ourselves to be. But the tried and true way of allowing all of this to naturally settle as a single blissful expanse is to just rest naturally, rest freely as awareness itself that is the essence of every perception, no matter how we've judged these perceptions to be positive, negative, or neutral. And the more we do so, the more this uncontrived reality of complete rest becomes obvious. So very often, we may have been doing all kinds of things that we are hoping will lead to awakening. Maybe, we've had a teachers, we've read lots of books, we've been doing special actions, meditations, pujas, rituals, yoga, going to mass, whatever it is, depending on our point of view. So when we hear this about resting naturally, it just doesn't seem like it could be the case sometimes, because we've had to work so hard for everything else. We've had to work so hard to be somebody. You know, either to be a conventional somebody or to be a spiritual somebody. We've had to work so hard to do that. And when we hear that the great reality is directly accessed through resting naturally for short moments, repeated many times until it becomes permanent, it just seems like that's way too easy. Or, you know, as one man said to me after trying this for a while, resting naturally as each perception, he said, "This is so easy, it's like cheating." You know, when you hear about that which is the pinnacle of being human, the pinnacle approach to being human, and that it comes about through ease and rest, the less effort in doing, the better. Oh, you know, it just, for some people, it just doesn't seem possible. It's much easier to hang on to some kind of form. Like, oh, wow, you know, I have my 3 hours of meditation a day, and when I'm meditating, I feel incredible spaciousness. I don't want to give that up. Well, you know, you don't have to give anything up. If you're meditating 3 hours a day or even 24 hours a day, or if you are involved in endless pujas and all kinds of activity, no matter what it is, just rest naturally, rest freely, because no matter what those are, there's going to be some perception there. Perception is inseparable from awareness, just as the color blue is inseparable from the sky, just as the luster of gold is inseparable from gold, just as the brilliance of a diamond is inseparable from the diamond. So all points of view, all perceptions, all phenomenon are inseparable from awareness. And when we rest naturally as the immediacy of every one of these perceptions. And I use this preposition as in a very pointed way and with a very specific purpose. Because if we say awareness of something or awareness in something, it sounds like there's a subject and an object. But if it's awareness as the perception, there's only awareness. You see, they're inseparable. So no matter what perception we have come up, say, you know, we have bliss in our relationship with our loved one, or we have discomfort, no matter what the perception is, we have no need to either cling to that or reject it. That we rest naturally as whatever it is that's appearing. Whatever is appearing is a label only, just like any word in the dictionary. But you know, if we took the vast expanse of pure space, which is really what we are, and then we fashioned the letters of the alphabet out of pure space, and then put them together in all the words in the dictionary and all the books ever written and everything appearing on the internet and everything that ever came out of anyone's mouth, it would all still be pure space. Because if we configure something or fashion something out of pure space, it's still going to be pure space, right? So you see, all these perceptions that are included and contained within us, we don't need to do anything about them. If we try to shape them into better perceptions, all we're getting is more perceptions added to the one we're trying to fix up. Do you understand what I'm saying? All we get is more perceptions. We don't get a taste of sublime reality. All these perceptions, no matter what they are, there's nothing that can be done about them. They're free in their own place, liberated upon arising. Even if we tried to hold on to them, we couldn't do it. It's just like grabbing pure space. It's impossible to grab pure space. So why even try? We'll just spend our whole life grabbing onto perceptions, just hoping that this perception or that perception is going to do it. This perception or that perception is going to be the one that brings comfort. We've all tried this. We know how it is. So, you know, there's no human being anywhere who is excluded from the direct experience of awareness. And this is all that is necessary for the realization of timeless freedom. This isn't something split off from being human, like transcending humanness and existing as some kind of space that excludes the practicalities of human life or the problems facing the world. Timeless freedom is timelessly free as everything, including all the problems. When we live our lives grabbing onto all the perceptions, the only solutions we can see for our problems are those that are based on points of view or perception. But when we rest naturally as the essence of every perception, as timeless awareness itself, rather than feeling the constraints or limits of an individual human being who is bound by the accumulation of everything they've ever thought, felt, or done, all of a sudden, you see, when we are living from points of view, we're only tapping into those points of view. All our points of view that we've accumulated, that we've heard from others, or that somehow have appeared within us out of basic space, we're just tapping into those for all of our solutions. But when we rest naturally as timeless awareness, then we tap into this indivisible wisdom mind, this indivisible wisdom body, indivisible wisdom speech that is the great totality for everyone. But this is accessed only through timeless freedom. We can't ever think it up.